completely just out of it. Um, it's not going to be a long video. I'm just trying to make some very clear points. Hey, Will, how's it going? As to this is going to be related to my previous video from yesterday. If you didn't see it, then this might be a little bit confusing to you. So just a fair warning on that, okay? Um, but I have to give credit where credit is due as well on top of that, which I haven't given like I should have. So I wouldn't have even known that Heliofont released that new video if it wasn't for my friend Jeff Overholt. He was the one who told me about it, and I haven't paid attention to ipetgoat2 in months before that. So credit to him. Also credit to Dan Beck, who is right there. He's right there. You see, he's right there in the comments. Hey, Loyalty, what's up? If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have even known that ipetgoat2 updated their website. And they did. Hey, Samir's here. Wow, what's going on? We got people here. Look at that. I'm on lunch over here doing this, and it's hot as hell outside, so I'm kind of out of it. But Dan, you're just going to hear what we talked about today because of your excellent points that you made about. I'm going to use coded words, by the way. This is going to be a really careful thing. Steve Roy is here. Wow, this is exciting. Look at this. See, if I was able to do live streams earlier, I would get, you know, all you guys would make it easier on you guys, but, working till 7 p.m. quite often, and it's just, I would rather do it at home. It's more comfortable there than having to look over my shoulder over here all the time for whatever the hell, Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. So Dan, you're saying, yeah, you're saying that this is like a synchronicity. You stumbled upon the website by accident. We don't believe in accidents over here. But I don't know what to think. There's somebody in the comments, someone new I haven't seen before, who made some incredible points. I shared it in the community post, but one of the things she said that stood out to me was that Montreal was basically like the headquarters of MK Ultra in the 60s. And I knew about that in the back of my head, but I've completely forgotten about it. And that has to be connected with this somehow. How, I don't know. But in my mind, there has to be some sort of connection because there's a lot of mind screwy things going on with the cartoon, obviously, and MK Ultra. What was MK Ultra about? It was about mind control. DiCello Piano, it's very lovely to see you. I'm just here for a short time, but it's great to see you. Thank you for coming on. Um, the stuff you're gonna hear you already heard before, but it's important. It's important to make this point because it's related to the updated Heliofont website. Basically, the creator of ipetgoat2, who I assumed wrote it, nobody really knows. I'm talking about yesterday's video. He goes over, step by step, symbols and interpretations, and what he thinks this means and what he thinks that means. And this is the sun god Ra, and this is Lily, and she's innocent. He completely overlooks the main message. Doesn't even touch it. Guys, the main message for the 100,000th time is in the title. ipetgoat2. And thanks to Dan Beck, you brought up George Bush and the connection of the first 9-1-1. I'm going to say it coded like that. Right? Because remember, those of you who are old enough, can you believe it? We're that old already. There's people who don't remember this. when George Bush came out on, in front of the press like a mumbling moron, and he made a joke. He said, "Fool me once, fool me twice," and then he just froze in place, not knowing what to say. And so that happened right after 9/11. Okay, sorry, 9-1-1. So that was around that time frame when he was, already sending troops to Afghanistan. So those audible words in ipetgoat2 are there to remind you about 9-1-1. And then the burning towers themselves are in the freaking cartoon. The burning twin towers are there. The title, ipetgoat2, Bush was reading My Pet Goat when the twin towers were hit. Okay? So let's just, anybody with 2 brain cells can figure out what ipetgoat2 means. Did the creator of Heliofont say anything about that? Why the twin towers were in this cartoon? Did he say anything about that? So this is why I said, like, the overall message here is sinister, is what I'm implying here, okay? Yo. Oh, DiCello Piano, you're damn right about that. People like us are not going to get fooled again. Nope. Not us. Yeah. But remember my old Pedgo2 series, guys, what I, in my opinion, feel the 2 9-1-1 events are, symbolically speaking. The first one was an insemination or impregnation ritual where, the egg is seeded. And the second 9-1-1 is actually the actual birthing of what was seeded. Okay, so there's the symbology there. Whether that's literal or not is up for debate. Nobody really knows. But I truly believe that is the symbolic meaning of both of the events. The second of which hasn't happened yet and may not happen until a very long time from now. We don't really know. And it could be tomorrow or July 4th. I mean, nobody knows, okay? There's no point of speculating that anymore. I do feel that'll happen in July. That's all I know, whatever year it will be. And to get to the point, it doesn't necessarily mean because he came out with this video and he came out with this updated website, that doesn't necessarily mean that the second birthing is soon. It could mean that. It could. I think that's a possibility. That's what is implied, but not necessarily. Like Dan, you said, could be trolling, could be all sorts of things. Okay? It could be the case that he truly doesn't know the meaning of his cartoon, which I'll find incredibly hard to believe. But like how? That wouldn't make any logical sense whatsoever. If he spent hours, like putting in those towers in the cartoon, like he knows the meaning. I mean, and then there was the vaccine there, right? And other things that have happened later on after that are in there. Yeah, the second video is not current. Yeah, you're telling me that maze, the SOS maze, was built in 2015, right, Dan? Even, like I told you, though, even 2015 was 8 years ago. It's not exactly yesterday. So, he's a scientist, molecular epigenetics. What? Steve Roy, is that true? He's a molecular epigenetics. Sorry, I can't say that. Wow. Well, before you came on, Steve, we're just talking about how Montreal was the headquarters of MK Ultra, and that's where most of the mind control experiments were done. So, Samir, you're saying ipetgoat2 is heavily in resonance with planetary trauma. Okay. According to John D'Souza, an ex-FBI agent, he said 50,000 were meant to be in those towers if the dark side got their wish and had the degree. Yeah, sacrifice probably wouldn't be here. Yeah, well, that's how many were working there at any given time. Yeah, so definitely possible there. Interesting. So anyway, what do you guys think? Like, is he like not a word, not a peep on those articles mentioned, like, I mean, in this updated website about 9-1-1, even though that is the main theme. Yes, yes, enlightenment, man becomes enlightened, sun god is supposed to be a representation of enlightened man, blah blah blah, we get that, but what about the main event that you don't talk about, which is why I have trouble believing that he's alone in this and that there's no other parties involved. That wouldn't make any sense either. Maybe the video is MK Ultra to make the viewer take the black goo. Maybe maybe the video itself, in and of itself, is a form of mind control. It's true. I mean, it has to be. I mean, there's no other video that I could think of off the top of my head that people have analyzed this much over the years. If you could think of another example, by all means. There are videos, obviously, that are analyzed and gone over, but this is a whole new cookie. This is a whole new ball game. People obsess over this one and have over the years. So we're talking about something on a whole new scale here. So I think you make a really good point, Steve. Overall, in conclusion, in this stream right here, is that I don't buy it. I don't believe that he doesn't understand on a deeper level the meaning of his film, and he deliberately ignored the Bush 9-1-1 connections, which he didn't mention a word of. Even the articles that he cited, or the sources that he cited below, they were talking about FEMA camps and all kinds of craziness too, and corruption. Corruption, yes, but what about the actual event? Solve Cicada. I think somebody did solve Cicada 3301. I think so. They don't really talk about it anymore. It's a good point. In conclusion, the submarine definitely has something to do with all of this too. I don't know what it is. Enter the Stars would know more about that. The fact that, a few rich people died, well, just today, this is just for an example. There was a wedding bus in India that crashed and 30 people died. And a few hours after that, there was a massive multi-car pileup in Kenya where like 55 people died. And a few rich people in a submarine die, and it's front page news for an entire week. I'm just saying, like, there's a big discrepancy here, okay? Like, they had more value, right? So, and it was a submarine, therefore their deaths are more worthy of being talked about. And nobody knows that last week there was a boat of migrants in the Mediterranean that sank where 50 people died there. None of you probably heard about that, because nobody does. That's my point, okay? But look up right now in Kenya, 50 people dead in a multi-car pileup, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. Didn't the Simpsons predict the submarine? They did? Oh, if you could send me something about that, I'd be super happy. In a multi-generational sense, wild foxes that were being caught, the more friendly foxes were raised peacefully around people, and when those foxes had puppies, they looked more like domesticated dogs. Right, so multi-generate, like over time, like this mind control, I see what you're saying. Like, it ends up affecting generations after. Okay. Simpsons apparently know it all, hell yeah. What does the fox say? Epigenetics is super important. I gotta look into that. the maker of this cartoon is like this brilliant scientist apparently, which just makes this rabbit hole go even deeper now. This is, oh man. Anything else, guys, before I have to go back out there? 1 minute for any final thoughts. Just you know, I haven't talked about PetGoat2 in the longest time, for weeks, at least several weeks. And then this happened. Matt? Oh, Matt from Quantum of Conscience. Yeah, probably is. Because I have a friend named Matt too that comes on here, so. All right. I guess I'll go ahead and go. Have a good night, good day, whatever time it is. Doesn't matter. It's too damn hot anyway.